Yes, I do have a mic. Isaias, how are you doing? Good to see you, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. I saw you watch the whole video of the Sardinia race. That was actually a pretty good race. It was a little while ago, but yeah. Nah, I'm excited for this race. It's gonna be pretty good. We got the F3500 in this race. It's gonna be a pretty good race. I'm gonna get some practice on the medium tire for a little bit first, because I've done the soft tire. But I haven't practiced the medium, so I don't know what the best line is for it at the moment. I've got a decent lap at the moment, still working on race pace. I've been doing a little bit of practice the past couple of days. The 1 lap pace can be improved a bit, but in terms of race pace, that is kind of stagnant at the moment. I'm kind of struggling to put it together, so I'm going to practice on the mediums and see if I can just lock in a safe line. For that tyre that will work with the soft tyre. American Pug doing a 138 flat, so that's half a second faster than us. Now I know that I've got about half a second to 0.7 of a second to gain on my fastest lap time. It's just a matter of putting it together throughout the lap. The first sector, I know there's an easy half a second, and the last sector may be about a tenth to 2 tenths. Middle sector is pretty average. Kind of depends on what lap I'm doing and how I've done in the last lap. I do kind of get a little bit distracted by the delta at the bottom of the screen, and it kind of throws me off in some of the corners. So I think what I might try do for 1 lap practice is might do a lap and then reset, do a lap, reset. Because when there's no distractions of a ghost or delta, that's when I'm able to properly focus and put in a lap. But I should be able to do it with a ghost and delta anyway, so I've got to do a little bit of practice and take the medium around, just get some race pace, and then might do some. Oh, nice, I've gone into a wheel straight away. Hang on, I wasn't set up properly. It's good, that's a go. Kind of threw off the first part of that corner, but managed to keep the car on track. This one is in the boat a little bit visible, so not a very good time coming across the end of sector 2. 103.1, a good lap of a 101.1. This corner you have to be very gentle getting on the gas, and the camber does split the car out. Just the first single lap of the car, so 131.1. Now generally you want to get closer to the apex than I do, but yeah, you do you. Quite a long corner that one. Got to be very patient on the gas, kind of coasting for a good chunk of it. On the gas a little too early there, I had to bail, so that did lose us a bit of time. I would have hit that wall and it would have been a spectacular crash. I knew that was going to happen. I forgot just how long that corner was and underestimated it. Okay, so that's how easy it is to make a mistake on this track, but we were on for a 139.9 I think. We were, well, not on for it, but we were 3 tenths up on our time through that first sector. Just on turn 2 alone, we gained 2 tenths. So even on the medium, we've got some pretty good pace. Like I said, might do some quick lap practice later on, but for the mediums, we've got some pretty good race pace. Looks like a tyre I might actually stick on for a good chunk of the race. We need to really look because we've got 4 times tyre here. There is a little bit of fuel rate, but not really. Still going faster on those last 2 sectors as well. Could have gone faster through there, but just got it a little wrong in front of that finishing. Still haven't lost peeps as well. Almost sitting the best lap on the medium. A little bit long on the brakes there, which kind of made it harder to turn the car, but still pretty good first sector. Even though we went slower across the line, it was still pretty good for most of it. Touch a little. Still though, 138.8 on the mediums is not bad. Very hard to get that downhill edge consistent. There's a little rock on the boats there. pace better. All the way in the end, but those are some pretty good opening laps here. They're not the most consistent. They're not within half a second of each other, but for a tyre for the medium tyre, we did end up getting a 138.8, and we were on track to get a 138.5 there. So we were going to be equal with our fastest time, which was on a soft tyre. So looks like we're on for some pretty good pace tonight. Sectors are all over the place. With lap 1 we'll kind of disregard, but sector 1 is looking fairly consistent. Gained a lot of time in that last lap. Sector 2, sorry. There's a mistake on lap 3, but on sector 2 they're kind of within about 2/10 of each other. Yeah, it's about, no, the fastest is a 118.1 and the next fastest is a 118.4. So but that's through the S's. Like I said, it's that pace there. Coming down through the S's, it's very easy to stay on the brakes just a little bit too long, and yeah, the car kind of turns into a boat. But for the start of the night, that's not looking too bad. By the way, I have noticed the time, so I'm going to go jump into a lobby. Got a good idea on the soft tyre pace now as well. Just the thing we need to be mindful of is what lap do I want to change off the medium. So I know that the softs I can go pretty quick. I haven't done a soft lap tonight, not just yet, but towards the end of the race, just get a feel for the track and how it is with all the different cars, and then maybe start with the medium and finish on the soft, because then that way with the track evolution I feel like we'll be able to get some pretty good times. Probably a low 138, maybe a 138 flat, but we'll just see how the night goes. Might get him one soft lap if I can. We've got 2 minutes left on the clock, so maybe. I don't think we'll be able to get one, but we'll give it a go. Just to get a feel for the car. But I think we'll be able to get maybe, so it's 4 times tyre wear and it's 20 laps I think. So we might be able to get, I don't know, about 8 laps on the mediums maybe. Not 8, sorry, 12, 13, something like that. We won't have enough to finish the lap, but we might be able to get through a good chunk of the track and just get a feel for it. Just so that we know what to expect once we change tyres. Yeah, this starts a lot easier. Much better. That's a 1 minute and 48 flat 362. Okay, this is on for a good time. Okay, that was a pretty dialed in lap. I think we'll be able to get a pretty good qualifying session in then. because we're definitely going to be doing the soft on qualifying. Okay, so I think that would put us on for a 1:38 flat, maybe a sub 38, which is a pretty good lap. We've got a couple of familiar names in this race as well, so I think we can expect it to be a very, very quick race. F3500s across the grid, some of them being sporting the Williams livery in this race. Not too many old school F1 liveries here. I was thinking about doing one, I completely forgot to put it on. But I think we can be on for a good race tonight. We have 233 points on the board at the moment. Some people in this lobby having 310, there's 345 for Cruising Chaos. Those are the pretty quick guys. Winnie and Cruising Chaos, they're pretty quick. But we did, for the first time, see 100 points in the last race. There we go, 113 points up for grabs in this race. That's higher than we usually get, so definitely doing something right. We got 83 in the last two races, and 67 on our first race in cars similar to this. However, it was in wet conditions around Spa. So this is a dry race around Circuit des Saintes-Croix with 20 laps with tyre wear, so I reckon we'll be on for a better race this time. But we're going into the qualifier now, and like I said, probably a 1:38 flat or 1:38.2 if possible. That will be the goal. We are on soft tyre, but I have no idea where we are. We are not even loaded onto the... I can't see anything. I'm waiting at the end of pit lane. Okay. Is there anyone behind me? Okay, well, I guess we're on track now, and we have 5 minutes 40 to set a fast lap. There's already someone who's just pulling off to the side. This guy is pulling off to the side as well. I think I'm going to go in front of him, and then I'm going to build my own gap. Because these cars are very fast, and it's very easy to either gain or lose time on them. So we want to have the largest amount of space we possibly can have. There's more barriers up than there are in the practice sessions I'm looking at, but no, it's not. It's the same track. Going to build a little bit more of a gap here because old mate in front is not going very, very fast. We have just over 4.5 minutes left on the clock to get round and do a lap. There's someone right on our tail. I'm going to pull to the side and let them go past. Cruising Chaos, that is someone who's quite fast, so I think we might try to stick a bit closer with him. And we'll see if we can kind of mimic some of the things that he does. And if not, at least get a bit of a slipstream on a lap. Because I believe this one slipstream is turned to real, so in this race dirty air is going to affect you. So I'm not going to get too close that I get dirty air, but close enough that I get a slipstream down the straight to get a faster lap. And ultimately a faster lap. Barriers are higher, it's a lot harder to see the rest of the track. Still not a bad sequence up there. First slipstream is still showing past 2 miles per hour. Just touching the wall on the exit of that corner. Let's try not to do that on this corner. Very, very crucial corner for a very long straight here. We will have enough time for a second lap here. So it's not the end of the road if this one isn't because we still have 20 laps of racing ahead of us, and a very, very fast car. It's very easy to use the shovel. With that being said, I'm going to turn on my... I was going to say focus, but I cut myself off. Sorry about that, my phone, my controller disconnected from the PlayStation, it ran out of battery. So we did manage to improve there on our first attempt, and we managed to go up to 9th was our fastest. And then the second one we didn't manage to improve. Got a little distracted with all the pop-ups, to be honest. We had the controller disconnect, we had a car go off the track, and then I had the no microphone available. It was a bit of a distraction before going into the last corner, which is quite a difficult one, but still managed to secure 8th on the grid to start the race off. We got 113 points up for grabs and 80 down where we are. So we can get some pretty high points if we just stay exactly where we are. But the thing is, this car is very difficult. So we have 20 laps ahead of us, and we have 4 times tyre wear. So I think I'm going to be focusing on starting the race on the mediums. I'm going to start the race on the mediums. Where Castle is quick. So I'm going to take these until I think about lap 12 or 13. I think that's about how long they'll last, because it looked like the soft doesn't fall off too much. Because I think we did 3 laps there of qualifying, and they were about just under an 8th worn. So 3, yeah, I can take that for about 9-10 laps at most. But I think I want to take them. I think I want to make sure that they stay healthy for longer in the race. But either way, we'll just have to see how it wears throughout the race and make a decision depending on when other people pit as well. This is the first race of the night, so this is more of the learning one than the competitive one. But ideally, we want to get a good position here. We're starting at 8. Anything can happen from here. I'm being a bit rude and I'm talking over the intro, which is not likely, but I'm going to shut up on this one because the trophy we're competing for is now being shown on screen. So 14 laps medium, 7 soft. Okay, alright. I'll see how that goes. Maybe do a 6 lap then. That's helpful info, I appreciate that. Alright, so we got some quick times here, kind of mid 138, so I reckon we'll finish maybe mid-pack, upper mid-pack. We'll just have to see how the race goes. There we are, starting in 8th with the basic silver Gran Turismo F3500A livery. This guy has the lime green version of that. And this one has a purple one. Ah, that should have been us with the grease monkey. But either way, we can do a pretty good race here by the look of it. Just going to be aiming for mid 138s for consistent laps. We're starting on the medium, so probably going to be about that to start off with. We've got a lot of slipstream in front of us that we can use as well, though. That is a nice Williams livery. I might see if I can run my nose in the next race. But here we go, starting the 2026 Nations Cup Round 4 around Circuit Saint Croix. I was going to say Gilles Villeneuve, but that's in Canada. Wrong side of the country. It's still a French-speaking country, but not the right one. But either way, like I said, starting the race in the F3500A, which is mimicking the 1990s era Formula 1 car. For 24 laps, sorry, not 20 laps, 24 laps around this large French circuit. Had to bail from the throttle, already spinning. I forgot to turn on traction control at the start there, losing a position straight away. Everyone saw that, huh? Not a very good start. Not a very good start, and we've got damage. Okay. Alright. That is not ideal at all, in any way, shape or form. Can I say that I got used to the soft tyres? Am I allowed to say that? Dirty air is definitely a thing. Okay, I got dirty tyres now. But I guess we gotta focus a lot more now. Like I said, this is the learning one. It's okay if we throw this one away. We've still got 3 other attempts. And we've still got 24 laps left as well. And a pit stop. So anything can happen. we've seen the yellow flag again. There's two cars right there. Yeah, I think I did get used to this off. Let me focus for everyone. little bit down from me, I don't know. not a bad first lap, first 8 laps. We gained 4 more positions, I think. I think we were in 14. And we gained 5 seconds in a couple laps on whoever it was in front of us. There's been a few yellow flags as well. There's another one here. It was a pretty good racecraft overtake on that last lap as well. On whoever it was, I don't remember their name. Seeing that they've gone deep into the first part of that weird chicane there's another overtake. Thought it would be better to just wind back on the throttle a little bit and let him go deep and just get him on the straight, and ended up going later on the brakes than him into the next corner, and we're still gaining on 7th right now. We're currently in 8th place after spinning to 14th, so good comeback so far. Leader's actually on soft as well, so we might be able to outlast him. We'll see how long we can go on these mediums and try and get in a good fast few laps with the soft and get the race done. Leaders are actually coming out in front of us, so I'm going to turn off my mic and go back to it. But yeah, not a bad first few laps. Okay, kind of starting to feel my tyre wear here. We were holding on to Inst in front of us there for a good while. We managed to get an overtake, a legitimate overtake, not just a pit stop overtake on Hot Dogs there, who made a mistake coming to the end of his last lap, and ultimately both Inst and me made an overtake on him on the straight, and we went a little deep into turn 1, but we're still kind of in the battle. He's pulling away a little bit, but I'd say that's more because he's on fresher tyres than ours. Ours are just under half worn at the moment. But so far we're not having a bad race. The lap times are somewhat consistent. Okay, not really, but our pace has not been bad. We are in, after pit stops, probably about 6th or 7th at the moment, which is a pretty good turnover given how our first lap went. But we're holding ourselves together pretty well. I'll have to get to all the messages after the race. I've seen a few pop through, but my phone is sitting flat down and it's bad to essentially text and drive. So this is racing, but we are only losing a little bit of time to 4th place at the moment. We're actually gaining time on it pretty efficiently for the tyre age difference. But we're also driving a fairly consistent race. We haven't spun. We had that one mistake on lap 1. Everything else has just been minor mistakes of slightly askew from the driving line. We're still gaining on 6 as well. We're actually pulling a bit of a lead. We have 2.5 seconds from us to 6 at the moment, so that's good. Now Frithie is on the soft as well, so we might go to the softs later on. Everyone's taking the 13 laps for the mediums at the moment when they're on the soft. So I might go a little bit longer with the medium because by the end of the race their mediums will be more worn than ours are at the moment actually. Especially with Inst in front of us who has come to the mediums as well from the soft. So by the end of the race our softs are going to be fresher than his worn mediums. So we're naturally going to have better pace throughout the end of the race. And we have 12 laps left to go at the moment as well, so we're only halfway through the race. And we are sitting in a pre-pit stop back at the moment, which is a pretty good comeback from a first lap spin that put us down into 14th. We now have a 3.1 second lead on Hot Dogs as well, so the race has gone pretty good thus far. Tyres are just about half worn as well, so I'm going to start thinking about maybe going softs. I don't know how many laps I'll survive, but I want to have fairly fresh softs by the end of that. Anyway, that's enough commentary for a couple of laps. I'll go back first. So Winnie there in front of us after setting a 140.5 there, pretty good lap. Mustn't turn mine immediately as soon as I start talking. Winnie there starting on the mediums, so he's coming to the pits now as well. Ah, there is fuel. I noticed that he was refueling. It is a fuel race as well. I should have run a little bit of fuel strategy. I didn't realise. Okay, like I said, learning race. Right, so I guess we'll come into the pits then, and we're doing 10 laps on the soft. So that sounds about right. And we'll only need 10 laps of fuel. So far we've had a pretty good race as well. I imagine the soft is going to be about as worn as our mediums are right now by lap 10. Maybe lap 9 to be honest. But either way we're going to come into the pits, so yeah, that's what's happening. Currently in 4th before going into the pits as well, so we've had a good race this far. We'll see. I don't think we're going to lose too much time in the pit either, because Hot Dogs behind us is 8 seconds down the road and everyone else is further behind us, so I think we are in an amazing spot, especially for a refuel pit stop. Anyway, I'm shutting up now. Alright, not a great first corner after our pit stop, but a lot of people who started on the medium, who I imagine are all the other people out on track, are still yet to pit. Sorry, I'm not focusing. And we're still only in 6th, so we're in a great position here. Right, anyway. Let's keep going with this race. As I was saying, this is where we're really going to put the hammer down now and see if we can catch the people in front. But I think they might have pressure softs on us towards the end of the race because of how early we pit compared to them. Person of Forest has come into the pits now as well, of mediums, but he was on no fuel, so he has refueled now and it's not too far in front of us. Right, I'm going to shut up again. Alright, so big news. Inst there, who we were fighting just before we came in and changed to the softs, actually was on softs and has gone to the mediums. So he's going to be about 1 second slower than us, maybe half a second slower than us each lap. Now it doesn't sound like a lot, but with these cars, that's quite a bit slower. So we got, and Gaz is only 1.5 up the road now. Alright, this race is really going in our favour. Alright, there we go, there's another position. And that is a legitimate fit. Okay. This race is going pretty good. I don't think anyone else is yet to pit, so this is it until the end of the race maybe. Still got another 6 laps to go, so let's see. 39.9 on the board now as well. this race is almost too intense to talk at the moment. We have Hot Dogs only half a second behind us, and he's got Winnie for close company. That was a very tight battle in those past couple of laps. Making mistakes like that is not helping. I don't know if my tyres are going to make it to the end of the race. Oh no, they will, but they're going to wear off very fast. I've got to shut up. Okay, never mind. Winning is not here, but it looks like we're going to have a battle for fourth until the end of the race, because third is about 8 seconds up the road from where I was just before. Got it really Yes! Yes! He spun out! I almost did the same thing. I felt the car wanting to turn. Or did I do it here instead? Okay, so that's fourth. As long as we don't do what he just did. RIP for our fallen soldier. That was a good race up until that point. I hope he goes on to win many, many races in the future, but not this one. We aren't winning either, but we won the battle. Right, all we need to do now is just bring the car to the end of the race. Third place is 9.5 seconds up the road. It looks like starting on the softs might be an idea, but it depends on how high up you qualify, I'm guessing. But we've had a pretty good race so far, and we've had a stellar race actually. Let's be real here. Although let's not jinx it, because Winnie is still only a couple Hot Dogs rather is only a couple seconds down the road. So I'm going to shut up and finish this race. Alright, let's see how this last lap goes. These tyres are not looking too healthy. Okay, I'm really feeling the tyres now. The rear wants to step out, so this is going to be a little bit difficult. and we came across the line with a 5.5 second lead over 5th place, just for good measure. Look at that, we just missed out on the podium. Well, not just missed out, there was an 11-second gap there, but they got an amazing start of the race, and for spinning out to 14th and recovering to 4th by the end of the race, that is an absolutely amazing performance. I don't know if I want to do another one to get the points, but that is going to be amazing for our championship. That's probably going to put us up into the low to mid 30s in the region. I'm currently 41st in Oceania, so that's going to be an amazing finish, and great for our driver rating as well. That was an amazing race. I mean, a few people did spin out, and we did ourselves on lap 1, but what a way to finish. And, oh, not hot dogs, sorry, whole dogs. And RIP messages to whole dogs, RIP him. He's, that was a good race between him. He was quite quick. It was bouncing between positions, him and I. But no, by the end of the race, managed to come across the line in 4th place, which is 4 positions higher than we started in as well, but 8 positions gained throughout the race. So that gives us 98 points for our championship. That is amazing. That's going to put us up to 422, 3, 4. One of them. I don't know. It's very late at night. It is 5 to 11, and maths is not the biggest thing on my mind at the moment. But that is an amazing finish. That is great. Anyone who liked that race, you know exactly what to do. Let me know. Blitzen, brother, yes, you're better on tires than me. You make it home. Oh, that was a little bit hard to nurse towards the end of the race. They were getting a little bit tired. Haha, my tires were getting tired. No, I'm joking, okay? Nah, those soft tires did drop off a lot quicker than I thought they would. So I think I might wait maybe a lap or 2 before I go onto them. The mediums have way more time to give. I think I came into the pits a little bit too cautiously and a little too early, but that was also because of the fuel factor. So I think maybe, I don't know if I want to do fuel strat though, because it was pretty good just dumping a whole lot of fuel in there. I was actually in the pits longer than I needed to be. I put in 13 laps worth of fuel, so I could probably take a little bit of a shorter pit stop. But it looks like it's a little bit of a toss-up between whether you start on the medium or the soft. There is variation in it. It depends on where you've started in your qualifying, because I reckon if we started on the soft, we would have come out of the pits in a lot of traffic, because we had only just finished overtaking a whole bunch of people, and being on the medium tyre, we got to nurse that until the end of the race. But starting on the mediums, we were able to pick off a lot of drivers, and pick up a lot of positions and gain a lot of track time, and be able to put in a good consistent amount of laps that made us gain on the leaders, and then went onto the soft tyre and was just that much faster. But I think we went onto the soft just a little bit too early, which is probably why we missed out on a podium. I feel like we could have done it given that they went onto the mediums, but they were also just very quick in general. I think they were one of the people with the fastest laps. I had to put 2 laps before with softs. Yeah, I was thinking about rear tire wear. Yeah, it's terrible. The rear of this car just swings around. It's just after you come out of that not sweeping right-hander, but the downshift corner where you can go on the brakes, but you just next to the wall where you bounce off and hit the right wall. Just past there, that corner is very, very easy to spin out, especially in third on those worn tyres. We were lucky that whole dog spun out on that corner actually, but no, that was a good race. We got a good turnaround. Not really enough time for another for a few laps. We only got 30 seconds until the next race. Now, for any of you watching, I'm not sure if you've actually done what I sell out with and say go watch my other videos. I uploaded a video earlier today that is around Sardinia Road Track A. If you got spare time, you should go give that one a watch. There's no commentary on it at the moment, but I will do one tomorrow. We went from 4th place to 1st in a couple of laps. It was a pretty good race. There's not many overtakes, but there was a very good battle between 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So could be worth a watch. And if you don't know that that's uploaded, then you should definitely hit the bell so that you know when I've uploaded, and you can keep up to date with more racing like this. And keep a track of my progress as well, because this isn't just me driving, it's practice, you know. But either way, we've got a couple of fast people in this race. Taz Devil, Mal Q, Aussie Knife, and M Shoemaker are all very quick drivers. All races that we have all waited and dreamed of seeing on the Grease Monkey channel. Today is your lucky day. Your dream has come true. We are racing them today for how many points this race? Only 76 points. I don't know if I should have gone into this race. I should have just stuck on my first finish. If I leave this race, I don't think I'll get these points. I gotta do it now. I would have had 92 points. I was just a little bit too greedy. I think I might have ruined the championship here. Okay, we'll just have to do good in this one, and then might have to do the midnight race and see if we can get more points there. That's a little disappointing. That's okay. They teach you not to be greedy. Oh, I think I'm on the wrong tyres. I'll go back to the pits and change tyres. Yeah, I'm on the mediums. Let me leave the pits. Right, let's go do this. Let's see if we can get a pole position lap. Probably not, but our race pace is what saved us in the last race. I reckon this one we're going to have to fight a lot more for our position. Because these guys are a lot closer to our speed than in the last race. Alright, I've got to build myself a little bit of a gap because this guy's a bit close for my liking. only good enough for a 39.2 across the line, but we managed to qualify 4th so far. Compromised one with no names lap on his second attempt, but luckily he managed to get another one in. He did secure 6th, so I don't feel too bad, and he finished 7/10 behind us. Looks like it's a little bit of a sparse grid, to be honest. There's a lot of space between 1st and 6th at the moment, 1.6 seconds to be exact. So going to be a bit of a spread out race, I imagine. But with us starting closer to the front, I think I'm going to start on the soft this time, just to try and pull a little bit of a gap and see how far through the field we can get. We need to be a little bit more consistent though, so I think we'll try and bring out the soft as far as possible and get as far ahead as possible on the soft as we can, and then go on to the mediums. Yeah, I know Taz Devil can be dirty. I've run into him a couple of times. He's a bit of a message driver, let's be real here. One with no name is real fast, yeah. So we can expect to see him later on in the race. But yeah, so 39.2 across the line. Not the fastest I've done. So there's definitely time available, but we've still got 20 laps of fun. 24 laps rather, so we'll just have to take them as far as we can. Alright, let's just get into it. Yeah, I do remember you being on Aussie. I've seen your game tag in these races. You're actually pretty quick. I'll be honest. You had me on the last race on everything. Here we are, 139.2. Nah, I've raced you a couple of times. You're actually quite quick. I'll be real about that. 140 flat. What a beautiful finishing time there. From I didn't catch his name. What was it? One with no name. 140 flat. Yeah, pretty good. Got another Williams there, and another one here as well. 2 different ones. I think they're Williams. Real, I didn't watch F1 back then because I was not alive. Either way, starting the race, 4th on the grid. Got a little bit of work in front of us, not heaps, but 24 laps to see what happens. So, let's take this away. That's really annoying. We got pushed. We got pushed wide. We gained a position on the start from someone spinning out, and then we got pushed wide on the exit. Alright, so we got a lot of space to make up. Dirty tyres coming into that corner as well. Let's just get it back on track gently. Okay, so now we've got a redemption race that is really not a lot of points to redeem for. So now the debate is, do I keep doing this race, or do I leave this race, do a little practice, and hope the next race has more points and do that one instead? or do I just stay in this race, try and get the win, and then do it again anyway? What do you guys think? Because I'm on the soft tire at the moment. Oh, there is also a yellow flag. The only thing is, I'm looking up at the top of my screen, and that track is, everyone's quite far in front. And we're on a soft tire. There we go, here's Taz Devil. Let's see what he's got in his bag of goodies today. A little bit messy through here, to be honest. That was just my mistake. I think I bumped him. I think I bumped Taz there, but I didn't expect him to go on the race. So either way, there's a position. Hey, has lost my gate. I mean, what's done is done. I can't do anything about it. I feel bad. I don't know if it was my fault. If it was, I apologise. Better luck next time. What a mindset, right? What a mindset. Right, we lost a bit of time to the leader with that, but still got 24 laps to make up it. Might need a few more if I take corners the way I just did there. My bad, I forgot to brake. I tried to get the flick back and then, okay, where's the penalty? What? Where's the penalty? Okay. I tried to get a switchback on him and he didn't. It could have worked, but it wasn't really a corner I wanted to overtake on. I wanted to see if I could dummy on it. If it was an overtaking corner, it might have been nice. That was a terrible move. We lost a lot of time with that. I got damaged. But we've had a good couple of laps. We're sitting in 7th now. And this sector here, that corner rather, as much as that one wasn't good, it has been good the past couple of laps. So we're doing alright here. Got a 1:39.8 on lap 4 as well. I'm looking away from the screen. This is why I don't commentate while I'm racing, because I look away. Still gaining on 6 though. But yes, no. Lap 4 we're only 3 tenths or 4 tenths off the fastest time. There's 6th and 5th right there. Alright, I'm gonna stop talking. Race is going good is the moral of the story. So race update, Malcu has just gone into the pits off the soft and we are now sitting in 4th place after making a couple of overtakes, being on one with No Name and Big Pooh, who we overtook quite strategically just on the other side of Sector 2. 3rd and 2nd are just in front of us up the road. 1st is still 24 seconds down the road, but I'm thinking if we stay on the soft here, we might be able to get a decent undercut on him when he goes to the medium. Either way, talking is costing me time, so I'm going to go back and be quiet. Either way, 30 seconds are up the road, gaining on them just under 2 seconds now, and picking up speed on there. Alright, Trent came into the pits as well. He's come off the softs. He's got fuel as well. I'm going to actually... Alright, there's the leader right there. So I'm going to run a little bit of fuel strat, because leader is right here, and I wanted to let it go. I'm going to run a little bit of fuel strat and see if I can make my tank last a little longer. Because I can get a couple more laps out of these softs, maybe 1 or 2. And then I've got 14 laps on the mediums. I did just touch a wall there, which has given third place a good run on us. He's decided to go for the bump draft and is playing the long game with first place. Okay, that's good. We're now 17th somewhat. Okay. This is a very intense race. Alright, so I've got to use Big Pooh's slipstream. I think he's either on the mediums or the softs. I'm calling softs because he's going just about as fast as we are, maybe a little bit faster. So I'm going to use his slipstream and see if we can catch M. Shoemaker here, or keep up with him at least so that we can get a good undercut on him when we go into the mediums. Very slow on the gas here out of that corner. Alright, I'm going to focus again. Still going to have to pump a little bit of fuel in the pits. But the thing with the fuel strat is it means I'm going to pump less than most others would. But we're going to come into the pits this lap maybe. Yeah, definitely. And come off these worn softs and go onto the mediums. And we'll stay on the fuel strat longer. Because we have 5 laps of fuel left, which means that we only need to pump for 10 laps. Which is what I did last race, but I was on 0 fuel. That was so close. Right, yep, coming into the pits. Alright, only pumping for 10, no, maybe 9 laps of fuel that we need to put into our tank now. Back onto the track. And we're still only down at 7th and 11 seconds up on 8, so good position. I don't think we saved a lot of time in the pits. First place is 28 seconds on the road. Okay, I think we're sitting in a legitimate third here. I'm not sure if Big Pooh has pit yet or not. I don't think he has. One with no name, sorry, no, AP Sprat and Taz Devil just pit. Taz was on the soft and AP was on the medium, so he'll now be on the soft. But he's got no traffic behind him, but he is 21 seconds down the road, so I think we might have done it right here. The leader is in the pits. I didn't know that he had got picked. The only problem is that he's on the sub, and so was that guy. Who was 2.5 seconds behind us, but not really increasing on that. Just trying to get in some consistent times anyway, which we have been doing pretty well actually. Oh, what a race. What a race. Oh, I'm a little bit sore after that. But managed to secure second by the end of that. We could have gone on to win first if we were on the soft maybe. But after spinning to 10th and finishing like that was a pretty good race. I'm a little annoyed that this race didn't have as many points as the last race, because we're only going to get, I think, 75 or 74 points now rather than 93. So I will have to do the next race, but I'm very sore, so I don't know how that's going to go with another hour-long race. But we seem to be holding a way better average pace than everyone else. And aside from our first lap skirmishes that we're having with other vehicles, we're actually making a lot less mistakes than everyone else by the look of it as well. Because I'm seeing yellow flags, and that's where we get a few of our overtakes, and some of them we're just holding a lot more speed through some of those corners. I was actually finding more pace throughout the track, throughout that race, which is why I want to do another one as well, because I think I'll be able to hold myself a little bit better. But there we are on the second step of the podium with a second place finish. Just going to scooch my chair in a little bit more. I think it moved back during the race, which is why I am so sore. Quite a bit actually, but there we go. A few thousand points added to the bank, and we got 73 points from that race. Yes, I shall thank you all for the race. Right, let's save that replay, and we'll go into one more race. I'm going to I wanna practice my quali so that I can start in P1, but I also like fighting for the lead. It just feels a little bit more better when you have to fight for it rather than lead every lap. But my start laps have been pretty good. We almost won that race and we spun to 10th, so that was a pretty good performance. But yeah, I wanna try and see if I can set a 38 something rather than my 39s that I've been doing. I hope everything's all good, Aussie. That's all good. I understand if you guys don't make the streams. They can be hard to get to. I understand that life gets in the way. I don't expect you to prioritize YouTube over anything else that you guys have going on. Don't go for points. I see, they say don't go for points, and I do like doing the races, but because I'm in this to, you know, see if I can get into the World Series, I like fighting for the points. It's just something I enjoy doing, you know. It gives me a little bit of a championship thrill. But yeah, no, the medium tyre times have actually been pretty good. We got a 39.5 in that last race, I think, so the pace is definitely there. A win is a win. When your ranking goes up, you'll need to do better quali for the most points, do the most you can. Yeah, when my rank goes up, that's the thing that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to work my rank up. I was about a quarter of the way off of getting into driver class A, but I had a few bad races, and manufacturer's cup, I got a few penalties from, you know, dirty drivers at the back of the grid, and ultimately ending up in bad finishes. I got all the bad driver rating points, and it kind of just continued for a little bit there, but ended up actually getting back to about half driver rating B at the moment, I think. Still got SRS, so that's pretty good. My strategy, I've done 2 different strategies now. My first race I started on the medium, and I went to lap 14, and then switched over to the soft. I think I might wait till lap 15 or 15, 16 or 17 this time. I'm definitely going to be starting on the mediums, because you kind of outlast everyone and you wait for everyone to do their pits, and then you can kind of just pull away into the distance with the soft tyre and the clear air. But we started that last race there on the soft, and we went to about lap 10 or 11. But yeah, holding out till lap 10 or 11 on the soft, and then we went mediums for the rest of the race. So it was pretty much the exact same strategy, just flipped the other way around. I think I'm going to go for lap 15 or 16 on the mediums here, and then go to the soft, because finishing the race on the faster tyre is definitely giving us an edge. We had much faster end race pace on our first race. We regained to 4th from 14, so another 10 place recovery, which we almost did in that last race there as well, but you know, is what it is. Sometimes you only just miss out on wins and podiums. We got some faster people here. These ones are a little bit quicker than the last race we were in. Stray Yak Hunt is a pretty fast guy. He can take a car around the track pretty quickly. These cars do kind of throw a little bit of a curveball to a few drivers on this game, because of the high downforce. It's a lot more rely on the aero grip than the mechanical, so there is a little bit of that. Because we got a good last race, we have 101 points up for grabs, so as long as we finish 3rd and above, we'll be getting better points than we normally do in these races. And from about 6th to 4th is about our standard point scoring, so ideally I want to keep it on the podium though. Gotta switch over to the soft though, just before the race starts. A couple of messages, let me just quickly get to them. Yeah, I'm on the verge of getting into A2. Yeah, I'll do my best to not spin on this race, man. Cheers, man. But yeah, all good. I'll see you later, man. Hopefully you stick around in the channel a couple more times. I appreciate the advice and the help. But yeah, no, good luck on getting onto A. It's a little bit of a challenge, but good luck. I think you finished with soft, lighter fuel. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be running a little bit of fuel strat in this first stint as well. Just on 2. Nothing too crazy, just so that I can make it a shorter pit stop and try and gain time throughout the race, because it's not just the laps that we're looking at, it's the overall race time. Yeah, I'm definitely sat closer to the pedals. I pulled my chair in a bit. It feels a bit better though. My accelerator pedal is just a little bit closer than usual. It's fine. This is only qualifying, so I'm going to pull back a little bit anyway. I'll keep watching, just tell me to shut up. Nah, you're all good, bro. The blip isn't as distracting as it may seem. I want to try to stay in front of this guy here. Actually, I'm just going to let him go past. That's just unlucky. We were on for a good time there. We might have been able to improve a little bit because this lobby is quite a bit faster than the last one. And Muji just spun out in front of us and we've gone into the back at, yeah, 1.8 down on our best. We'll just bail from this and let this guy go past. Fastest lap at the moment is a 137.8 from Stray Yak Hunt, and Domahawk has a 138.7. So we'll see if those times improve. I'm not imagining that they will. Still got a minute left on qualifying, so a couple of people yet to cross the line by the look of it. Currently sitting in 5th in terms of our qualifying position with a 138.9. We could have improved. We probably could have gotten a 138.5, which would have put us probably 2nd, I imagine. Yeah, okay, so 2nd is only 2 tenths in front of us, and we've got a 138.9. So a couple of tenths in front of him, we would have been in 2nd. We've still got, as I've said in each other race, we've still got 24 laps ahead of us. I think we're going to start on the mediums. We're going to try not to spin on the first lap. We've been taken out by a couple of drivers on each of our laps, which has been a little bit inconvenient, but we'll just try to keep it, try to make sure that they don't disappear. You were on for a good position. That sucks. Yeah, no, I was on for a pretty good spot. I think that would have been 2nd across the line. We currently have 306 points on the board. 137.9. Nice. Yeah, mine is about a 138.5. I'm gonna switch to the mediums here. Yes, that 137.9 is quite fast. The 137.8 is quite fast. I got more time in my laps, but just need to put it together. I think this time we're going to go until about lap 14 or 15 and run a fuel strat 2, just so that I can have a slightly shorter pit stop. If we get 100 points out, we're gonna have a good result for our championship as well, which is going to help out. But either way, here's the intro. Yeah, I do need to, I was thinking about starting my qualifying a little bit later so that I can get a clearer gap, but it's the first time, not the first time I got impeded actually. I got impeded on my first race as well. But starting in 4th, there's only about 4 tenths, no, there's a 2nd between me and 1st place, so that's a big gap, but as Razor Eagle said just before, my medium tyre is about 6 tenths of a second off of the pole position lap, so on the mediums we should be able to keep some pretty good consistent pace. Race pace is a little bit harder to achieve for that, but we've still got 24 laps ahead of us, and we've got clearer air than we have on each of our races, so it should be good. The gap is so important, yeah it is. 1 second is a big gap. But either way, going into the race, it's going to be an intense one. We're going to go until lap 15 kind of. I'm going to set my fuel now and my traction control just for the start. By the way, here we go, starting the race. See what we can do in this next hour. Every time the same. Either way, we've still got pit stop and undercut and 24 laps left to go and quite a bit of fighting in front of us, so we might lose time there, so we'll get focused. Right, lap 2 update. First place is still within 8 seconds and we are actually gaining on him. Set a 142 flat across the line, not the fastest. But first place is not the person who started the race in first. Actually, he's not even on the podium at the moment. And everyone is still quite close together, so this race might go well. So I've put my fuel strat back onto 1. I'm gonna absolutely send it these next couple of laps. We've got 10 laps before, well, 9 laps before I need to start thinking about coming in. We're sitting in 4th currently and no one's come into the pit just yet. So we are doing amazing right now, and first is now within 7 seconds of us, so we've actually gained time on them. We've set a good consistent couple of laps to start the race as well. Only improving on our times as well. Currently holding a 6-second lead on 5th as well, and 3rd is now only 3 seconds up the road after having been 5 seconds up the road a couple of laps ago. So we're just going to keep this up until about lap 16 and then change over to the softs and see what we can do. Alright, big news. Stray Yak Hunt is on the soft tyre and he was only just managing to stay 7 seconds in front of us. And we were actually gaining on him, so he's now on the mediums. Muji behind us was on the soft as well. I wonder how many others are on the soft. This is second right in front of us as well, a genuine second. He has a pit, and neither has Domahawk, who is only 4.3 in front of us. And we've got 7 laps of fuel left, so we're only going to need a short fuel. Stray Yak Hunt had a little bit more fuel in the tank than we do when he came into the pits, so I think he was running a sort of fuel strat as well. but we shouldn't really need to worry about that because he's just over 10 seconds down the road. So we'll focus on this. He's on mediums now. We'll keep our pace up, which is looking pretty good. See where we go. Alright, so we're gaining on Domahawk by quite a bit with Sonny in front of us. He's still gaining, holding about a second lead on us as well. But the gap from us to the leader now was just under 3 seconds before. And I imagine he's on the softs because he was about 4 seconds off the road. And I think he might be suffering from tyre wear. Either that, or it could be that they're struggling with the way the mediums are holding on. Could be anything. Braking a bit early. Still on a stage 2 fuel tuning as well. So still not giving the car everything it can. So I'll let that go to number 1. Was just trying to get a little bit more fuel life out of the car so that I can comfortably take it to lap 16. I think I can only get it to 15 without refueling. But we've still done good in terms of fuel saving. We've still got 30% of our tank left, and we are just over halfway through the race. But it really does look like our race is with Sonny here in front of us. So we might have to pit when he does. But he could also be doing the same strategy as us and be trying to fuel save. until the end, not until the end of the race, but so that you don't have to refill as much in the pits and you save a little bit of time. You still need to refill to save it now. It's just waiting. A little deep on the brakes there. We did go right up onto him. We're now within 7 tenths or so we should be in slipstream range on the straight, on the pit straight. Got a couple of laps before we can start thinking about pitting for tyres as well. I've still got a little bit of tyre life left, about half its life. So probably lap 15, just so that our softs are a little bit of pressure towards the end of the race. Either that, or we could undercut, because first is 2.6 in front of us as well. And with him going this way, I'm starting to think that he might be on the mediums rather than the softs. Sonny making a bit of a mistake there, which is giving us a good run down the hill. I didn't manage to give him enough room, and I think I just caused a mistake there. I didn't think he'd come across me like that. I thought he was going to hold the inside the whole way through, but came a bit wide, and I only just managed to tuck underneath him. But now first place is the next person on our hit list, sitting in second. First is 3 seconds in front. RIP in the chat, Sonny. He is no longer our race. Got some good race pace with our mediums on this go round though. Setting some pretty consistent times as well. Just trying to hold on until we can get a good move on Tomahawk here. We are gaining on him slowly, and we should be able to do a little bit more now that we're in front of Sonny here. Right, back to my race. Alright, so Domahawk has not come into the pits. We have just been overtaken by Sonny, or will be overtaken by Sonny in just a couple of seconds. Oh no, Sonny and Strayak Hunt are coming into the pits, so this may be a legitimate second at the moment. Only got to put in 9 laps again. We've got to be precise with it. Right, race is a little bit intense now. Now we really got to focus. Got a lot of clear air in front of us though, so we should be able to get a good undercut on Domahawk here. We're just going to make sure we make it count. Alright, here's Domahawk in the pits. I don't know if we're going to get him, he's just coming out now. There he is. Nice! There we go, first place. Alright, let's hold on to this then. I think we made the right pit strategy call. Alright, so pardon my French, but I've just accidentally gone and locked the fuck in for the last 6 laps, and we now have a almost 10-second lead on P2, and we are still building on that actually. We've set a consistent 1:38.5 to 1:39 lap time over the past 6 or so laps, and we still only have half our tyres left, and we are just cruising off into the distance, 10 seconds up on 2nd place, and I don't know what position we spun out to, but it was pretty low. And we've actually lapped the car now as well. We've also set 2 purple laps. That was scary. And we've been consistent with our lap times on almost every single one. Had a couple of scary moments, but we've done well. Just going to check what my fuel rate is, because it looks like we don't have much left. Alright, I'm going to turn it up for this last lap, because we only have 1.2 1.4 laps of fuel left, and we've still got another full lap to go. I was wondering if I pumped enough gas, but I literally filled my tank and couldn't put any more gas in. But I'd say it's going to be a pretty comfortable finish in the lead. We have 11.7 seconds on 2nd place. I don't need to brake anywhere near that much. A little bit scary now. We might run out of fuel before the end of the race. Coming across the line with 1 lap left of fuel, and my fuel strat is on strat 4 at the moment. Gonna have to try and keep the car going fast while using lower fuel. Should mean we can get slightly higher corner speed though. 17's down on our best time, which is still the fastest lap of the race. There we go, coming across the line in first place with an 10-second lead on 2nd place. What a race, that was absolutely amazing. Some of the calls there were absolutely stunning. I think starting on medium was absolutely the right call, and finishing on the soft to absolutely take it out of the park. I didn't realise how many people hadn't actually pit as well by trying to go longer on the mediums, but I think we got a good undercut on them anyway. Managing to reel in some real fast laps on those softs, especially on our out laps, which gave us a massive advantage towards the end of the race. And the person who started the race in first finished in 4th. He finished quite far behind us, so I think he might have made a mistake somewhere. But that was a phenomenal race. that was excellent. That's definitely going into the book of one of the better races I've had. 101 points on the board as well now, so that will put us up to 390 points, I think. I'm not sure. Still pretty good. Now the chat was going a little bit crazy through that, so let me try and keep up with all that. Yeah, it was a little bit annoying being pushed all the way out, but you know, if it is what it is. Part of racing. We ended up coming across the line first anyway. Sub though, watch your streams if you can get to them. There we go. Fastest lap and a clean race bonus, so that's pretty good. First place. Always love to see that, especially in a Nations Cup. I had a feeling the Formula 1 race was going to go good though. I'm weirdly good in the single seaters compared to the tin tops. Yeah, maybe I'll see you in a race, man. That'd be kind of cool. Thanks for the sub as well. I appreciate it. You are my 130th subscriber, if that's the case. Stop playing with my delirium. Put after him. Yeah, racing incidents. Yeah, I was quite pacey. Yeah, I remember your racer. Nah, I appreciate you watching, man. It's huge. Love this car. If they made an F1 game with cars that drive like this, yeah. If they made a game with these F1 cars, I would be buying it tomorrow. I love the 90s era F1 cars and the F3500B, the one we raced earlier on in the week. Yeah, that was a good race. He finished in second as well, so we got 101 points on the board. That only put us at 334, but still ended up being a good race finish anyway. But with that being said, and getting that many points on the board and seeing what happened last time I went into another race, I think that's going to do it for me tonight. Those were some really fast races. I'm very happy with how they went. Every single one we actually managed to go up to either get a podium or just miss out on a podium. So the performance tonight was definitely there. From what I've seen, the next race is in the Red Bull X 2019 competition car. I did a little bit of looking on the forum, and it's going to be around Suzuka for, I think it's 20 laps. I'll have to check that when it gets open tomorrow. But yes, got another very, very strong race up ahead. I'm not going to do that next race. Currently we are 8th in the country and 41st in Oceania, so we're not in too bad a position. I reckon we're going to go up a few positions with that result as well, especially given on how my points are normally around the 80 point mark for a win. So 100 points on the board, I reckon we'll be probably 35th or 36th in the region, depending on what happens with all the other races. I don't know how much we'll improve in the country, because the person in front of me has 244 and they don't really get hundreds of points, but we might be able to gain on them anyway. Domahawk here has 266 points and he got second, so that's going to be 95 points, so I don't think we'll get too close to him, but it looks like we're going to go up on the boards quite healthily. Regional ranking, we are 41st. 266th makes 25th. Now the goal is to try and finish in the top 5% by the end of the season, which the top 5% for the country is 3rd and top 5% for the region is 15th. So we'll just have to see how the rest of the race goes. But other than that, I'm yapping too much. I just want to say to everyone who stuck around and watched the whole stream, I appreciate it very much. Thank you for watching. If you did like it, you know exactly what to do. Leave a like. If you stayed around long enough, you are more than welcome to hit the subscribe button. You don't need to, but I'm going to ask that you think about it. It is up to you. You don't need to. But either way, thank you all so much for watching, and I shall see you all in the next one.
Peace out, Grace Monkeys.